Hi, this is Brandon Smiley from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about an exercise called the Hex Bar Deadlift or the Trap Bar Deadlift. This is a fantastic exercise to build strength in the glutes, hamstrings, lower body. It's also got a lot of different benefits compared to a regular deadlift, where we're going to talk about as well. So we primarily use this with our sports performance and personal training clients. The reason being is that the hamstring mobility and also the demands of a regular conventional deadlift with a regular standard power bar or straight bar can be taxing for some athletes and some clients. So this is a way to get them to that if they so desire to be able to do that, or they want to do powerlifting or something like that. Otherwise, we generally stick with the sumo deadlift when it comes to deadlifting from the floor with a straight bar with our personal training and our sport performance athletes. I like the trap bar or the hex bar because it allows the load to be in the center of the body, so it's not out in front of us. It's actually loaded just in the midline with us, and that gives us some advantages. It lets us load the bar up more, that's absolutely for sure, but it also maintains a good neutral position in the spine and everything else. Kids tend to grasp onto this and learn it much quicker. Same thing with your personal training clients. So keep that in mind. The other option that's also nice is we got two different handle positions in most of them. Usually you're going to have a high handle and a low handle. We generally start everyone with the high handle option, and then we try to get them to the low handle if we need to. For most athletes, the high handle position is probably going to be more ideal. You might have some personal training clients that also benefit from that based upon their hip mobility restrictions and what they have access to there. Some athletes also may need to elevate these on blocks. We have some athletes that generally can do well, but if we get them on the blocks, the hip position looks a little bit better, the low back stops rounding as much, and we can still work on creating a lot of force and a lot of power from the ground. That's another great benefit from the deadlift, is that we get a lot of starting strength because we have to break the weight off the floor. We have to create enough power and enough strength to break the inertia to get the weight off the floor and get it moving, which gives us a lot of benefits from a sports performance perspective. The RDL has some great benefits in that we eccentrically lower the hamstrings, which is great when it comes to the gait cycle and the way we start loading the hamstrings from a running perspective, but this also does a great job of trying to help increase power when it comes to like your vertical jump, your broad jumps, anything you need to be able to statically just go and take off. Great exercise for here. So let's talk about the deadlift with the trap bar, the hex bar, and how we kind of set it up and what we look for when we coach it. So we're obviously going to step inside the bar. We use the bumper plates a lot. Not only is it great because we can start with different weights. Not everybody can start with a 45-pound plate on each side, and that's completely okay. We try to get our athletes to where they can be strong enough to do that potentially, but I also understand that sometimes we got to get some bang from our buck out of exercise for other athletes as well. We may not be RDLing them. So the bumper plates are great, especially also for your personal training clients to help build some confidence, because they see that big 45-pound plate and they get a little bit intimidated by it. Don't worry about that. This keeps the bar height the same no matter what the weight is, as long as you can do. For example, in this case, we got 20 kilos on here. We have even 5 kilo training plates to be able to help get kids or athletes to get this down if they so need to with lighter weights. So like I said, we're going to step in the bar. We're going to have the bar handles like this. And then what we're going to try to do here, while this tries to roll away from me, we want to make sure that we're in the middle of the bar, but also that the ankle is where there's a center part of the bar here. That's basically where we want our ankle to be. That way it's in the center of our body. Have our arms down by our side, our chest is tall, and we don't want to reach for it. We just want to keep pushing our hips back, load our glutes and our hamstrings, keep our chest tall, keep pushing back until we get to the weight. Okay, I don't want clients to like bend over, grab it, and then reposition. If we just focus on hinging back first and keeping our chest tall, and then bending our knees as needed, we'll get to the bar. So as you can see, this position right here is really good and athletic. However, once we get down here, we want to make sure we're feeling our whole foot on the floor. Our knees need to be driven out towards the sides of the plates here. We don't want our knees in like this. We want our knees driven out towards the plates here, okay? And then our chest is going to stay tall. Everything else stays neutral here. Grab those handles. So this is a high handle position. Grab those handles, and then we're ready to go. Once the weights are getting heavy, we're going to talk a little about breathing and bracing. We've got a separate video on how to use a lifting belt, which the mechanics of the breathing and bracing are the same. We want to take a big breath in. We want to feel it in our abs. We don't want to breathe up here. We want to feel it in our midsection. We want to create that cylinder pressure here to stay good and rigid. So breathe in through my nose or in through your mouth, whatever one you want. In, feel it, brace hard, come down. That's going to help create tension down here. So that when I go to push, my spine's good and rigid and all this stays locked in and we don't have to worry about all this breaking down as much. So breathe in, grab, push through your heels, down. So as we come up, we want to get our butt through. We want to get our hips forward, get our glutes involved. We don't want to lean back and get this thing rocking. Now you can come too far forward with your butt and then you start to hyperextend as well. So just make sure you're going to get here, stand tall, feel your butt, back down. Each repetition, you do not have to lightly set the weight down. So the nice thing about a deadlift, if you're in a facility where you can't drop your weight, you're probably in the wrong weight room. And here, you're just going to drop it down. It's going to be controlled to a degree. You're going to keep your hands on it, but you're not going to slowly put it down. So just again, for another repetition, big breath in through my nose, brace, keep my arms by my side, chest tall, hips back, push through my whole feet, stand tall, strong, and then back. Just like that. So this exercise has got multiple benefits in how you want to program it. We generally use this as one of like our main prime movers for our lower body training sessions for our athletes. We're going to do this 3 to 6 sets of 3 to 5 reps. We might do some 6s every now and then. You can also perform it for speed. So if you have a client's, you have an idea of where their max weight might be, you don't have to max them, but if you have an idea, you can get some RPEs or use some light percentage-based work and focus on pulling fast against the barbell and trying to do some compensatory acceleration training with it. There's just a ton of benefits, and the way that you coach it is going to help you reap those benefits from that exercise. Also understand that you can do different jumps. If your athletes are strong enough, this is a way to do loaded jumps. You can do carries. There's a ton of different options with this barbell, but the deadlift itself, we're very big on the Hex Bar or the Trap Bar Deadlift and the benefits that it gives the athletes to be on the playing field, or for our personal training clients. It's just a really hard exercise that builds the lower body strength and helps build some confidence and also helps them shed some pounds. So if you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.